You're watching The Real Fishing Show with Bob Azumi.
All right.
Okay, got another one going.
Good stuff. I say that baby's hooked.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Life is good out here on Graham Lake this morning.
Oh, lost him right at the hole. He bumped off. Look at that, huh?
Hey, the peanut gallery here is not liking this.
Coming up. On today's show, we're hitting the road for our eastern swing across Ontario. Ice fishing has come a long way with its advancements in technology, and Tom Grunwald and Eric Poster of HT Enterprises have a lot to do with that. Today, we travel across Ontario and fish for walleye, pike, and bluegill, while Tom and Eric show us how ice fishing can be comfortable and fun. And also, Bob takes a look back at an ice fishing trip he had on Lake Simcoe with professional bass player Ken Tizard, formerly with the band Thornley. Stay tuned for an exciting real fishing adventure.
Here comes. Whoa. Could be a world record.
You gotta love it.
All right. Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right,
Oh, man. Look at size that one.
Oh, there you got it.
Yeah. That is so cool. Oh, yeah. That is a monster.
The Real Fishing Show with Bob Azumi.
All right. Oh, man. Woo-hoo-wee. That was pretty cool. Oh.
Oh, I got one!
A Slavosaurus!
Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Man, that's a good
There
fish.
it is. Oh, yeah. Good one. Whoa. Here he comes. Yeah. Wow. Look at that. This is what open fishing is all about, right? 16 pounds. Look at there.
Real Fishing is sponsored by Chevy Trucks, Ontario, More to Discover, and Tim Hortons.
Hey, folks, that's what I call real fishing. Now we're talking some pretty bare ice here, and I'll tell you, these ice grippers are great. You know, we're here on our eastern swing of the province of Ontario, doing a little ice fishing. We're starting here in Belleville today. It's windy, cold. Fishing's a little slow today. It was good a couple of days ago, but hey, isn't that always the story? We're going to fish here a little bit and then work our way towards eastern Ontario with Big Jim McLaughlin and see what happens. But we got a whole group of us out here on Bay Quinte and seeing if we can't catch a few walleyes this morning. Okay, all right. I was just coming over.
Nail the spoon, Bob.
I was just coming over to check up on you, Tom, old boy.
Well, we've been marking quite a few perch, and I had a couple walleyes come up off the bottom following the spoon. Oh, it's a nice one, too. That's right. Oh, yeah. Oh, look at that.
Boy, are they thick, aren't they? All
These are
right.
well-fed fish.
Oh, good stuff. All right. All right.
That's what it's all about right there.
Good stuff. Now, you know, it's been a little slow this morning out here, Bay Quinte, and of course, Tom Grunwald here is with HT Enterprises, and Tom, you've been doing this ice fishing game a long time, haven't you?
I sure have, since I was a little boy.
And I know you've written a number of books on the sport, and well, here we are. Good day.
That's
good
what it's
day.
all about right there.
What a thick fish, huh?
I just can't believe how fat they are.
Good thick one.
Tremendous
Jeez.
fish.
So now it's worth the trip from Wisconsin.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. Now we've been pounding away here for a while this morning. I know Rick Somerville, he got one over here, smaller than this fish, and I think Will Wigman, he had one on, lost it too, didn't he?
Well, there's a little activity, so you just got to keep working on this. Days like this are tough, but you just got to stick it out. You put your time in, your pays off.
Hey, good stuff. Nice and warm and toasty in here?
Warm inside the shelter, got the heater going, we're all set.
All right, well, you know, you're spoiled. What a great looking walleye. What a thick one.
Coming up, Bob takes a look back to a fishing trip with Ken Tizard, formerly of Thornley, and sits down with Will Wegman from the MNR to chat about where to ice fish in Ontario.
It's a great sport, and I think more people are taking it up than ever before.
Closed captioning is brought to you by FNCC and VoterExam.com.
Chevrolet. When you're the #1 selling brand in Canada, you rock the nation. With more power, more fuel efficiency, more dependability, and more utility. Plus, get the Silverado Special Edition Crew, now with $1,000 worth of extras on us. The Rock the Nation event is back and rocking.
Coleman promised.
Coleman promised to light my way.
Coleman has been making reliable lanterns for over 100 years.
Coleman promised me shelter from the storm.
Only Coleman makes tents with a WeatherTech system to keep you dry, guaranteed.
Coleman promised to get me through the night.
The double lock valve guarantees our beds won't leak.
Coleman promised to keep things cool.
The extreme cooler that keeps ice for 5 days in temperatures up to 32 degrees Celsius.
That's cool.
Coleman promised.
At Coleman, we keep our promises for the past 100 years and the next.
Lull in the action here. Hey, I'm with Will Wigman. We've been friends for a long time. Will, you work with the Ministry of Natural Resources up around Lake Simcoe area. And what are you doing up there now?
Well, actually, I'm an extension services technician. It's a job combining my love for outdoor writing and writing about M&R issues, as well as going out and working with partners for various fisheries work. It's a great job, get to meet a lot of people and help our fisheries at the same time.
Southern Ontario, right across the board, offers some phenomenal fishing, doesn't it? Like, we're here in Bay of Quinte today, and we got, local Rick Somerville, and we got the guys from HT, High-Tech Fishing here from Wisconsin. The fishing's a little slow today, but it had been good for a number of days. I just had a little hit there. Just had a little thump.
There you go.
There are so many opportunities. Like, this area alone offers some of the best big walleye fishing in the world, doesn't it?
Absolutely, and people from across North America realize that this is the area. If you want a 10-pound walleye, I mean, it's nothing to get one in this bay. It definitely is a trophy walleye destination. And we've got lots of great walleye fishing in central Ontario, but this place, it's recognized for big fish.
Now, Lake Simcoe, of course, very popular destination. Everybody's out there fishing perch, whitefish, lakers, the odd pike.
Exactly, and Simcoe is the most heavily fished fishery in Canada, and that's because of the ice fishing. I mean, more people fish it during the winter than at any other time. We can see 3,000 to 4,000 huts on the lake any given winter.
Well, last time I was on Simcoe, I had professional bass player Ken Tizard with me, and I had quite a mix. I had Doug Orr, Bobby Orr's father, out with his buddy Dan. They've been fishing together for over 50 years now, and we had a lot of fun out there that day. But the only two fish we caught during our short outing out there were caught by the rookie ice angler, Ken Tizard. He had never caught anything through the ice in his life. He caught the laker and the whitefish. He had the Grand Slam all in one morning.
Isn't that always the way? Well, good for him. He's probably hooked on the sport now.
Absolutely. He was asking me the other day, when you taking me back?
That's great.
We're up here off of the town of Sutton, just off of Georgina Island, and there's a bunch of guys from the town of Sutton and Keswick that have set us up here with all their ice huts, and they got one ice hut in particular here that's sort of like a fair-sized house out here.
You could stay in there for some time.
Well, what do you say we get set up and see what's happening and see what else we got in the hut?
Let's check it out.
I heard of your son once. I heard he played hockey. Yeah, number 4, Bobby Orr. I had a great time with everyone out on Simcoe. Unfortunately, the only fish that were caught were a lake trout and a whitefish by Ken Tizard before we even arrived. So, not wanting to end the day on a sour note, we headed back to Toronto to watch Ken perform at one of his concerts with his former band Thornley. We had a lot of fun. I can't wait for Ken and I to head back out and do some more fishing real soon. Now, if I can only grow hair like that.
Let's take a look down under with this week's Fish Eye View. Sponsored by Mercury, #1 on the water. Lately, there's a growing trend towards run and gun fishing. In lakes and rivers, jumping from one high percentage area to another translates into the most fish for time on the water. This mindset is most important in ice fishing. But if you don't know local hotspots, it's a long day of drilling holes. In our experience, the very best surefire location is at a river mouth. Regardless of size, any flow of water entering a lake will attract all species of game fish. The reason for this is oxygen, food, and temperature. Rivers never freeze solid and warm up quickly on sunny days. That 1 or 2 degrees makes a real difference. Spring spawners like walleye and steelhead stage in these areas all winter long. Still, it's important to position yourself directly in the river current under the ice. It's just this simple and dramatic if the fish are close to shore. Remember though, if you can see them, it stands to reason they can see you. In deeper water, finding that flow can be a real challenge. You have to factor in existing lake currents which do occur even under thick ice. Even without a map, finding a river mouth is easy. Obviously, caution is the order of the day. Stay well back from open water and enjoy the hottest action on ice. We're on the road again in Eastern Ontario for some more great fishing. Stay tuned for hot bluegill action with Big Jim McLaughlin and some frisky pike on Graham Lake when we return.
All right, well, that starts us off, huh?
Yeah, good stuff.
There's something new at the top of the food chain. The world's first supercharged 4-stroke outboard, and the only power system of its kind anywhere. The revolutionary Mercury Verado. From pole shot to top end, it delivers unmatched power and acceleration, all in the quietest outboard ever built. See why all other outboards are history. Mercury Verado. Take charge. Bomber. The one and only.
Next stop on our eastern swing of Ontario was a small lake near Big Rideau for some tasty bluegill with Big Jim McLaughlin and the HT boys. One of the many great things about Ontario is its abundant wildlife, and we were lucky enough to come across some deer on the way in. Once we had arrived, we packed up and made our way to the lake to set up before the sun went down. It didn't take long for both Big Jim and Tom Grunwald from HT Enterprises to start catching a bunch of fish. I wish I could say the same thing for me. Right.
Aggressive. Nice.
Hey Eric, you know the sun's going down. It's peak time, but bottom line is it's a tougher bite today, so obviously go light. Now you guys call them microlights.
Microlights and ultralights. This one here is a microlight. A microlight has a spring bobber action on the tip. Look at the super fine tip there.
So incredibly sensitive then.
Yep. And also you look at the guides on this here. They're also a lot smaller. But the guides here on such a fine tip have to be small. If they're not small, it's going to change the action of that tip. We've got 1 pound line on here. And right now I've got a size 10 Marmuska jig here. We're going to switch down to a size 16. The 16 has been producing some bluegills here for Tom, even when the bite has been tough.
Well, he's catching lots over there, you know, and today it's been slow even at Bay of Quinte for walleye. Now, the hooks that he's using are like a 14 or a 16?
He's using a size 16. He started off in a size 10, then he went to a 12. A 14 started producing better for him. Right. And he figures that a size 16 is going to produce even more.
And tipping them what, with 1 or 2 maggots?
He's tipping, yeah, 1 or 2 maggots.
Okay, well, hey, let's get set up. I'd like to use one of these light line outfits of yours because the lightest I brought is 4 over there, and he's using like 1 pound test, that is.
Well, let's get at it.
Well, unfortunately, my luck didn't change. Just goes to show you when it comes to any type of fishing, but especially ice fishing, being on the right spot is key. Even if you're 6 feet away, some fish won't move from their comfort zone, even for food. Sometimes you have to drop it on their nose. So folks, don't forget, if you're not getting any action, keep moving and punching holes, and you'll up your percentage of catching fish dramatically. The next morning, Big Jim took us to Graham Lake, just north of Brockville, for some northern pike. We met up with some of Big Jim's friends early in the morning and headed out on the lake. Northern pike come in all sizes, and ice fishing can produce some huge lunkers, especially here in Ontario. But smaller pike can be just as much fun when you're fishing with tip-ups. And we'll warn you, they'll be prepared to do a lot of running and a little falling if the ice is slippery. But if the bite is on, you're going to have a lot of fun. Come on, let's race. There you go. All right, good little northern. You know, there are tip-ups and there are tip-ups. Well, the folks at HT, High Tech Fishing Tackle, have a number of quality tip-ups. You guys are the leaders in ice fishing tackle and equipment, Tom.
Well, there's a whole family of them. The most popular one, and the one that really started us out, is the Polar tip-up, Bob. And the advantage to these is simply that you can get the spool under the water, so the spool never freezes.
Right.
And the mechanism here is guaranteed against freeze-up. This is packed with a freeze-proof lubricant, so no matter how cold it gets, you're always going to get the trip shaft spinning, just like a ball bearing.
Now, I know over the years there's been a lot of imitators of the Polar tip-up, and some of them do not have lubricant in the shaft, which make them ice up, right?
Right. Some don't have lubricant in them, and sometimes they're not a complex product at all, but there's just enough finesse to putting one of these together that it's a hard thing to imitate.
2 different settings here when you set the flag up. This is more for a softer finesse bite, the smooth side.
Yeah, if you're fishing walleyes or perch, slides right off, pops right up.
Right.
If you're fishing a little bigger bait, maybe you're fishing pike, lake trout, the grooved side of the trip shaft will give you a little increased friction on there, so it doesn't trip as easily.
So the fish has to run a little bit just to take it off, but even a 2-pound fish can pull it off, as we've witnessed today, right?
Exactly.
Yep. All right, so that's the one that really set the stage for a number of the tip-ups that you have. Let's look at some of the others.
Let's go check them out.
Okay. So what do we got here? A wooden version of the Polar tip-up, do we?
Yep. Basically, exact same concept as the regular Polar. It's got the multi-setting trip shaft we talked about with the heavy and the light trips.
Incredibly heavy-duty line guide here.
Yeah, the nice thing about this is, sometimes you go and you set your rigs and you forget to run your line through the line guide, and you can just go ahead and even put a pretty good-sized treble through there. And the wood frame is a lot wider and longer, so if you're fishing in bigger holes, the bigger frame is a nice feature.
I know that you guys make more different types of tip-ups than anybody out there. This one here is quite unique, isn't it?
Yeah, again, same concept with this. It's got the Polar freeze-proof mechanism, larger spool, specialty line guides. You can snap your line right in easily. Adjustable tube settings, telescopic flag wire is nice if the snow is deep. Differentiate your tip-up from other people's. And also, even in the coldest weather, this will keep your hole from freezing.
You've got so many different types of tip-ups, you really got it covered. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it.
No problem, Bob.
All right.
After the break, we talk with Eric Poster of HT Enterprises on some of their advancements in ice fishing. And Bob and Big Jim sit down and show you why they love ice fishing so much.
And we're talking bluegills caught last night.
That's heaven.
All right.
They're America's most innovative total performance fishing machines. And with more best-in-class features than any other tournament rig, they've taken acceleration, handling, space, fishability, and all-out performance to new extremes. Go ahead, dare to dream, and join a whole new level of leadership. This is beyond evolution. This is the Ranger Z Comanche series. Take charge with Mercury Outboards. Mercury leads in power, performance, and reliability.
Hi, I'm Bob Azumi. After a day fishing, there's nothing like spending time enjoying a beautiful summer evening with my family and friends. And I won't let mosquitoes stop us from enjoying the fun. That's why I trust new Off mosquito lamps. The Off mosquito lamp uses a unique heat-activated pad that kills mosquitoes on an average-sized patio. I've always trusted Off to protect me when I'm fishing. Now Off gives me the protection I need for outdoor entertaining too. Off is effective protection you can trust.
You're watching The Real Fishing Show with Bob Azumi. This tip of the week is sponsored by Coleman.
Hey, I'm looking for Eric Poster. He's the sales manager for Canada for HT Enterprises. Eric, where are you? Are you in one of these? Aha! Hey,
Bob.
what's happening?
Just enjoying a little ice fishing here.
All right, well,
on Graham Lake.
You know, HT Enterprises are the leaders in ice fishing equipment, and you've got a number of different portable ice shelters here. Let's talk about these.
Well, we've got the family of polar shelters here. We've got the polar windbreak. The idea behind the polar windbreak is just to keep the wind off of you.
Yes.
Features nice portability.
Oh, we got the ice guru in here, you know, Tom Grunwald.
Look at this.
He wrote the book on ice fishing. All right. And what else we got, Eric?
Well, right here we have the Polar Escape Iceman shelter. It's made of a 100 denier canvas. It's got nice lead-weighted flaps here on the bottom. You've got 4 windows around it, so you can take a look around for your tip-up, see if you got a flag up. Got a little pouch here for identification of whose shelter it is. These are one-man shelters, so you've got room for yourself and you've got room for your gear as well.
Okay.
And we've got here the Polar Escape Express. This is made of a 500 denier canvas, nice zipper door. Again, 4 windows all the way around. This also has some nice vents up in the corners here. And if you're using your little portable Coleman heater or whatever you're using, it helps vent out some of the CO2 or get some of the excess heat out of there so you're nice and comfortable.
Now the Magnum, if you want to fish with a friend, 2-person ice shelter, right?
Yep, you got a nice 2-man here. It's got a double zipper door. Again, it's got the nice lead-weighted flaps here, 4 windows all the way around.
All right.
Again, you've got the vents. It's on a sled base. And the nice thing about our shelters is you can put them up in a windbreak position. And you can put all of your gear in here as well.
Well, you know what? The wind's coming up. I'll see you later. Thanks, by the way. I'm going to keep warm in here.
Another one, Bob.
Jim, you gotta love it, eh? Fresh Tim Hortons coffee out here on the ice. Flag up, tip up. Okay, pull him up there, see what we got.
He's going with it. Oh, he's there.
You know, it always feels warmer, doesn't it, when you get fish?
It always helps, doesn't it? Oh, we got one on.
Okay, let's see.
A real big one, but yeah, well, hey.
Nice little northern.
There we go.
As you Americans call them, northern?
Northerns,
yeah.
Yes. Always call them northerns.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Look at that.
Did he swallow it?
No, you know what? This is really interesting. Remember that fish that broke off earlier, Bob?
Yeah.
There's the treble hook from it.
No way.
And here's the hook from this one. So the same fish in the same area came back and hit a second time.
And he's bleeding too.
Yep.
So that would be one we'll keep.
We'll fillet him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe I'll go get a pliers and we'll get the hook.
And since Big Jim's, we'll leave a few bones in for Jim's piece.
Good idea.
Let's do that.
Just as a joke. Hey, I'm here with Big Jim McLaughlin, and Jim, you know, having a shore lunch out in the winter time, it's a little different, isn't it? You can actually have it on the ice if you want.
Oh, this is just a great spot, Bob. These bluegills are actually from the secret lake.
Yeah, well, we caught them last night. You know, the fishing was fast and furious. A lot of Canadians don't consider bluegills, pumpkin seeds a food base, do they?
No, and like there's so many of them out there, Bob, and anybody can catch them. I mean, any time of the year, they're one of the easiest fish to fish for. And as you can see, once you fillet them up and they, get them on a plate there and they're hungry, especially when you're out like this, it just doesn't come any better. This is Canada.
I'll tell you, they are sweet meat, aren't they?
Good for you, too.
All right, well, I brought the little Coleman propane single burner stove here. You can make a homemade batter easy. Take some breadcrumbs, seasoning, and some flour, really, and put it in a Ziploc bag, shake it up. I don't use cornmeal. Some guys like cornmeal in there, too. But, it's easy to make, and next thing you know, you're eating fish. Okay, Jim, we're talking. Them babies are ready to chow down.
They won't be here long.
This fine dining out here is just great, isn't it? All right, he finally takes the glove off. I'd like to see you eat that as hot as it is.
That's heaven.
All right. Hey, you gotta love it. A shore lunch during the winter months. January shore lunch. Well, let's get some more in there. Guys, help yourself. It just goes to show you, ice fishing can be a great time. With shore lunches, beautiful scenery, amazing wildlife, and the excellent gear available, ice fishing is sure not what it used to be. Gone are the days of freezing in the blistering wind. With all of the advancements of ice fishing, you can now head out on the ice and protect yourself from all of the elements and have all the tools necessary to catch those hidden fish. Travel Ontario and see for yourself what millions of people have already experienced. I'll see you next week right here for some more real fishing. Oh, wow. I'm going ice fishing. Coming, Jimmy? I'm coming with you, Mike. That is a fish of a lifetime. Whoa. Well, that is just amazing. Look at that thing. Oh, yeah.